Ooh. Would you fight me? I'd fight me. Vodka!
Okay, then we're talking with Jennifer Zhang and Hugh, is that Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that, yeah, you fucked it up, or? Yeah, right on.
That's okay for an idiot. Usually you say it faster.
Hugh Jordan?
Yeah, say it faster.
Yeah,
Hugh Jordan?
Yeah, there you go.
Hugh Jordan? Okay. And then we've got William, who is actually Will Magno Alessandrino. Help me there.
You can just use Will Magno.
Okay. Will Magno. Okay. And Jennifer's the writer-producer of the Street Fighter High series, 2 films. Hugh is the director of the second one. The first one, did you direct that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And then William is the fight coordinator for the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
he also
hey, Jen, is Will in the first movie? I don't remember seeing him in the first movie. Was he?
He wasn't. No, he wasn't.
No?
Yeah, he actually plays a character in this. I mean, we'll get to that. I guess let's just start, probably a standard question you guys all get. I'm sure we'll ask you a lot of questions you've been asked a gazillion times. Just give us a little background. We'll start with Jennifer and move right down the list to Hugh and Will. Just give us a little background as far as your film experiences and what led you all to get together.
Well, me personally, I used to focus on writing as a career, and there was a small production company that I wrote for, and that just naturally transitioned to like a producing job. So it wasn't anything I was actually interested in. It was something that had to be done at the time. And then there was like a gap where I was copywriting, writing books, and I guess I could safely say that Street Fighter High was really kind of my return to some producing work, but this time it was stuff that I actually wanted to do for myself as opposed to things I would do for clients. So, or, for a company's clients. I don't know, I guess I would need to... What do you mean background?
Well, I mean, are you college educated in everything? Is this just something you had an interest with all along?
I'm college educated in communication studies and East Asian studies, so it was really more. I always thought I'd be like a travel journalist or something, or a novelist.
Gotcha.
That wrote about cultural topics like back in the day. But no, if you're talking specifically about Street Fighter, I played Street Fighter 2 when I was like in 3rd grade or 4th grade, something like that, and I've always been a fan.
The original console?
Yeah, I played on SNES. I was too young to go to the arcade for myself that way.
Oh, jeez. Thanks for dating me.
Original. No, you got to play the original PC Engine one, man.
No, I didn't. I'm not legit like that.
I feel old, man. I was playing the arcade game back in the 80s.
Exactly.
Right?
We're playing it in I had a deli by my house. It had that, and I was like 13 years old. We'd all go to the deli after school, try to beat each other. They're almost like fist fights over the machine. Like, I got next. Oh, fuck you, I got next.
Nice.
There's literally street fighting going on to use the machine.
So, Jen, you took communications in college, and then you got into a job kind of around the spectrum of your interests, and then you just started to make your own films, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay. I'll be playing the part of Jennifer Zhang this evening. How about let's go to Hugh and his background and how you met this gang.
Well, it's kind of strange. Well, my background's really simple. I, pretty much just work on the lower totem pole of, feature films and all that. And I met, Jennifer through, some industry contacts of mine. And at the time, when Jennifer was just trying to decide who's going to direct Street Fighter High. And when a friend told me about it, I was like, oh, please, can you get her to call me, or I'll give her a call. I forgot, did I call you or did you call me? I totally forgot about that. But, somehow we got on the phone and I said, look, I've been playing this since the old, PC Engine game where the only playable character was Ryu, and, you had to wear gloves to play because the designs of the gamepad was so bad that you have blisters trying to do a Hadouken.
Yep.
And just being, just a fan on its own right, and also knowing that this was, a parody as well, which means that, I don't have to follow everything exactly the same, so I'm not going to ruin myself by pissing off all the fanboys, including myself,
right.
By doing this, because, it's a parody. So, there is a little bit of having, just go and have fun and just shoot, and I obviously have observed, other directors and all that, and I feel I was ready, so, Jen was kind enough to give me a shot at this.
So had you done any kind of maybe comedic material before, or is it your first time venturing into the parody kind of humorous side of films?
It definitely is my first time venturing into the parody area, and I definitely had some help, not only from Jen, but from the cast who were originally in Street Fighter 1 as well. What was great was that they could bring a lot of their experiences from the first over. They've really got pre-established characters, so it kind of made my job a whole lot easier and all that, in a sense that it wasn't so too overwhelming for me, because for example, Jordan, who played Dawson, he already had certain trademarks and all that, and it's not like we were trying to figure out on the set how we're going to make it funny. Jen especially knew what worked on the first one, and that was great. So we're just going to continuing the funny on, as we call it.
Whatever you did, it worked out, because got quite a few chuckles in there.
Yeah.
You can also appreciate it more when you've seen the other, the parody, the materials themselves, and then you see the movie and you think, oh my God, they're throwing that in too. That's awesome,
Pop, pop, pop. Soda, pop. Soda, pop, pop. Soda, pop. Go, go, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go, go, go. Drinking Sprite. Chugging Coke, salmon squirt. Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb. Surfing Pepsi, sipping Joe. Who does it do? We do the do. Buying cans, drinking them.
Then recycling one Red Bull.
50 cents, giant man. Put that scratch in my hand.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest parts for me was that, because in general I'm not so much of a high school comedy kind of guy, so I had to play a lot of catch up and look at it and say, okay, I can see how this is funny and all that, but I think the only doubt I actually had was just trying to figure out, I wonder if people would get this. I wonder whether they watch this movie and would they get this funny, I think that was the only worry I had on set, actually. Of course, I had Jennifer just, kicking my ass from behind and going, they will get it, just do it. And I'm like, okay.
As well you deserve, sir.
He's great. He's very accommodating. He's been very accommodating with all our crazy whims and wild concepts. And, yeah, he was just brought that level of professionalism to the production.
It was funny because, during my whole experience, I'm used to, being on set and having a certain protocol and all that. There's a sense of, serious professionalism going on around. So I remember the first day at the football field, and that's what we shot on the first day. And we went there, and, we practically, the cast outnumbered the crew by, 200 to 1 or something like that. And they were having fun. They were like little kids jumping up and down all over the place. And, I wasn't used to it. I'm like, oh, my God, are we supposed to have fun shooting a movie? I've never ever seen that. I always used to seeing people going, oh, we need to get there and this and there and this and there. And I walked, on set on the first day, and people were, laughing, having fun, sitting around, joking around, getting into makeup, putting on makeup for each other and all that. Because they're mainly cosplay players. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm almost freaked out by the fact that people are having fun. And it was a really, really weird thing. But, eventually the good thing is that when it came, down to actually, performing and all that, they did what they need to do, and they executed it really well.
Well, that's great. Yeah. They know when to play and then when it's time to time to work, if you want to call it work.
We have a video on YouTube right now of El Fuerte, Matt Louise, who practically, and we were at Jen's house on the last day of shooting, and we needed to wait till the sun goes down so that, we could, shoot the final scene of the movie. And, it became a dance party at your car driveway. Yeah. It's great. It's on YouTube. You can actually watch it. It's pretty hilarious.
Well, let's get William involved here. How'd you hook up with these crazy cats?
Wake
you up.
Well,
wake up, Will.
Yeah. I originally saw the post via Facebook from friends of friends of friends, and I kind of was torn with that idea. It was just like, hey, why don't I apply just for shits and gigs? And as the deadline kept going, my buddy Tim, who actually put us a Hakan in the series, was telling me that they were still looking for a guy to play Guy, in Street Fighter. so yeah, I told him, hey, I'm down, So he gave me Jen's information, and I just sent her a quick email or text, saying, hey, I'd love to be your guy. I'm kind of, stoked to do it, and I have the costume, And then she wanted to see, some pictures or videos, so I forwarded some videos I had on YouTube, and then I got a reply back saying, bam, you got it. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Quality.
Then I actually took the role away from someone else to give it to Will after I got his fight videos.
Kind of like the whole Eric Stoltz, Michael J. Fox thing, huh?
Exactly. It was very ruthless of me, but...
Eric Stoltz and Michael J. Fox, that's great.
The guy understood. The guy ended up being, his name is JR, he ended up being our Fei Long, but he understood that that this was the guy that was going to be playing Guy, because those videos... Will's an amazing fight choreographer. Do you want to drop some names of some fight choreography videos you've got going on, Will? And, just drop them in the interview. We'll go and check them out.
They can just look at my channel if they want, W Magno. They can search for it on YouTube. I'm sure something will pop up.
No, he's just lazy right now because he's watching some Street Fighter.
All right. He's actually playing Street Fighter right now as this interview is progressing.
I'm pantsless right now, jerking it to Street Fighter. So, I'm doing.
Yes! 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 Oh!
Nice. And when I mean Street Fighter, I mean just replaying the same scene over and over again of me getting punched in the face by Jen.
No, actually, Williams, his choreography didn't really show up, and you weren't aiming towards a fight film.
It's funny how I actually became the fight choreographer. I originally was just, the actor there, playing Guy. And when Jen was talking about the script and the idea of actually before she even spoke about the idea, she sent me the script and I read through it. And I was stoked. I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do. I wonder if we can, work some type of fight scenes in her, if she needs help in certain areas. And as soon as I saw the title, I was like, what the fuck? It's a fucking musical? So
West Side Story?
The first thing I asked her was I'm like, is this a musical? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, so with song and dance, are we going to have interpretive fight scenes or anything? She's like, no, not really. I'm like, so is anyone going to get hurt? She's like, not really. And I'm like, oh.
Here was the irony of it all. The funny thing is not that you're actually telling me this. The funny thing is that the only person who got hurt on set was Will.
Yeah.
And it gets better as well. It happened on his birthday too. But we'll let Will tell the story or Jen tell the story. But
did they at least take him out to get drunk afterwards? Something?
No.
For that? No.
Oh, jeez.
Will, I'll let you do the honors.
We didn't even plan the fight scenes. Except for when Jury comes up, and then, I had this, idea that, what if she came, towards, douse him and, completely obliterates everybody in the past. And I was like, you know what? I think it can be really funny if we did it the 300 kind of style. And so Jen agreed, and, Will kind of stepped up to the game and said, okay, I'll choreograph the whole thing. And when all was said and done, I wanted to do it all in one shot as well. And when all was said and done, I was like, you know what, this is really, really good. And I think that, you know what can be funny is that let's actually do, our end credit with fight scenes. Kind of to show people that we love Street Fighter, we can do the fight scenes, and we can do it well. We just choose to do a parody instead, but that doesn't mean we cannot do a fight scene, because I would hate it if, the fans turn around, or whatever, people turn around and said, oh, they're just doing it because they don't know how to shoot fight scenes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you know what? We can do it, and we will show it, and so that people will know that the parody and the musical is a choice, not so much as, that we don't have that resource. And I think it's more funny when it becomes a choice.
Right.
So that's how the end credits came out, and, I just told Will, I was like, look, you have free creative control, go ballistic, and, he did a great job. There's so many fans on YouTube that said, wow, this is the best part of the movie, which, of course, I'm like, crap, and it's the only part I didn't direct. Great. But, kudos to Will on that. I'm really proud of him for that. But, you're not getting away easy. Tell them about your birthday face punch.
Oh, man. Well, it was my birthday.
Blood and all.
Yeah. I think we actually might have some behind-the-scenes video of it actually occurring, but in the scene, Jen actually, knees me in the stomach. I fall over, and she grabs my head and punches me in the face. And in the take, the first time she was a little too far, so it didn't look, it didn't look realistic. So I told her, don't be afraid to get as close as possible. Closer the better. So the second time, she actually hits me on the side of the head. But, I'm pretty thick-headed, and I was fine. I got a bit dazed, so I'm like, hey, no, that's completely fine. Oh, my God, I'm sorry. I'm just afraid to hit you even hard. I'm like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Just go full throttle. But whatever you do, I said, whatever you do, even if you hit me, hold the pose. So the third take goes in, we reset. She gets to the part, knees me, I go to the ground. She grabs my head, and then all I remember is seeing her fist go up, and she just nails me right between the eyes, right where my nose was. And bam, I got floored. But she held the pose, and I don't know if they used the shot, but she held the pose.
Yeah, we used that shot because I think it was funny.
Oh, nice. And that was her saying happy birthday to me, so...
Yeah,
that was her saying happy fucking birthday.
Yeah, right? She didn't even wrap it.
There's the kettle on your cake, bitch.
That was for you saying, what, no fighting scenes musical? Fuck you! Oh. And that's another thing that differentiates this production from other productions, If somebody got punched, everybody would be running in going, oh my God, medics would come in and all that. When Jen punched Will, we get it around and we just laughed our asses off.
Let's make sure everybody's okay. Are you okay? Okay, you're good? I was laughing too.
Did we even ask that? I think Jen was the only one that says, oh my God, are you okay? And the rest of us were like,
I mean, oh, man.
Do you guys have, I've been involved in a couple independent films. Do you guys have insurance and everything like that? Or no insurance for them? No?
We need everyone to sign release form.
Yeah.
We did have the insurance because of the cameras we used, we needed to get the insurance because of the cameras, but, the funny thing is that it was only a paper, and, bottom line came down as people were there to have fun, and, we all know the saying, it's all fun and games until somebody loses an eye. In our case, it didn't matter if somebody loses an eye. We're just going to have fun. And, that's what we did, and that's what we got. And, you make a lot of friends in that unique way. Like, most productions that you go to, people leave the production and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll stay in contact, but they don't, And, in this, everybody still stay in contact. And I think that in some ways it was special because, make sure that we kept it professional in the sense of what's in front of the camera. I think we were pretty good about keeping it, the set, making it feel like a family event. I think that was what was special about this production. That we all felt like we were family.
Okay.
And, since then we have, gone and hang out. We've, gone to Comic-Con together, get drunk, and just hung out with each other. And, I've worked with so many people, and I know they're at Comic-Con, and we don't even hang out. And, it kind of carried on towards, post-production, when Jen would come down, when we're doing editing and all that, she'll be like, I'll come on by and she'll just bring a 6-pack and we'll be editing while we're drinking.
Well, hey,
really bad.
you are my kind of crew.
You know, we're not getting drunk. Yeah,
exactly.
We're not getting drunk, but we're getting, you know, really happy with each other and just making sure that we're having fun doing this. And I think too many people take it so seriously right now, in my observation, that, you know, when you actually have a project that you're doing it and having real fun, I think, you know, that's when you realize, like, you know, that's why I'm doing this. Exactly. This is why I'm making films.
Right.
And that's what's great about it.
Were there ever any plans at any point to kind of do like a I guess quote unquote serious take on a Street Fighter fan film? We ever plan on maybe do it with something without the humor, just kind of like straightforward action, you know?
I think Jen is planning something bigger, but you know, right. I think she has other plans with. I don't know. What other plans do you have, Jen, with Street Fighter?
For Street Fighter, I guess I can't disclose at the moment, to be honest.
Okay.
Does it have anything to do with your involvement with Capcom? If there is any involvement, I guess.
I can't disclose at the moment.
Okay.
That could mean a number of things. So let's not get people excited.
Right.
I'm scared of Capcom.
Some serious stuff, huh?
Is Capcom going to come whack you if you say anything, or if you rant to anybody about the project?
You know what? I can't say. I can't say.
See again.
She's at a loss.
She's shutting us down.
Yeah.
Jen, that means something is happening. Right? You can say something is happening at least, right? With the way
there you go. Things are in motion. That's all we can say right now.
Right.
I'm collaborating with a very amazing director fella who has some
Thank
ideas.
you. Aww.
Yeah, who had some ideas and
all right.
and some support, let's say. And
okay.
But we'll have to wait to see if anything pans out. But things are we're happy. We're smiling. We're on clouds. We're on clouds.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet. That's good news.
Yeah.
Good news.
Well,
good
also,
news.
you know, I think you know, and Will can testify this as well. You know, we're doing this out of labor of love. We're not expecting like, you know, let's take this to the next level. We're going to be famous because of this, and you know, especially that when Will did the fight sequences, you know, when you look at it, he not only stayed faithful but kind of gave it that comedic edge as well. Just because it's like a lot of people like to do something because it benefits them, because, you know, they want to have something in the future and all that. But, you know, as you can see when we do this, it really is we're just out there to have fun. And we hope that, you know, that kind of energy comes across to the fans that, you know, just have fun together. You don't have to like it. You may hate it. It doesn't matter. But we're here to have fun. Just, you know, take it easy, breathe easy, and, you know, join us on the ride or don't join us. It doesn't matter. But, you know, we're smiling on the way home in the end.
Right, to me, it comes across as both. I mean, you could tell you guys are having a good old time, but at the same time, it actually came across as very just extremely well made, well shot. The choreography was on the money. It came across kind of like I was speaking before about a quote unquote serious fan film or serious Street Fighter fan film. You definitely had the serious, believe it or not, kind of mixed, in my opinion, mixed in with the humorous. Like you got it. It looked like we're going out, setting out to do something, and you actually got it accomplished in a certain, you know, like a planned out way. Everybody got involved, and they did their thing, and to me, it just hit all across the board. Like there's no bad parts to me, no drag-outs, no, you know, that's kind of cheesy and silly. But the things that were cheesy and silly were supposed to be, and you could tell they were. You know, it
was definitely intentional, and you know, in fact, at times that, you know, Jen would come up to me and go, "Do you have another take that's more cheesy?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Can I see it?" I was like, "Sure." And then she's like, "Let's just use that." And she's like, "You know, we're not here to, you know, try and make something and, you know, serious or anything. Let's just go cheesy. It doesn't matter. Let's just, you know, go wild." And you know, Will, what was your direction for the fight choreography? You know, because I wasn't there when you filmed it, so, you know, what was it? Was it a similar direction or what? I'm unsure. I'd like to know now.
Well, you're talking about how I planned out the choreography for the actual fight scene, right?
Right. Because obviously you had some funny moments in there, you know, like when Dan tried to do the Hadouken, looked at his hand like, what the fuck? And then, you know, Sakura punches him. So, you know, shit like that.
The thing that I I'm obviously a huge Street Fighter fan. I mean, I'm all Reddit it for a long time, and that's how I got good in the arcade. And I'm a big follower of, like, the original anime. I keep up with the old 80s comics. I have all the current comics, so I wanted to take a lot of the fight moves from the games and a lot of the history and, like, storyline from the comics and match it into the fight scene. And I give or take, there's not much dialogue. I'm sorry?
You told me you were a Puzzle Bubble fan.
Yes, I am. If it has Street Fighter in it. But,
I remember there was something similar, but go ahead.
All right, so, I decided to take a lot of those elements and put it into the fight choreography. So with Dan, he always considers, in the more recent storyline, Sakura as his pupil, which is not a really big deal. And one of the gimmicks he has is that his Hadouken doesn't go that far, and that for some reason Sakura was able to master it after mimicking, Ryu after, like, his first meeting. So, I thought it would have been really funny as if, he had that upper hand, that one moment where he has, he guard breaks and opens her and just tosses nothing. And originally we were going to have, like, an effect of, like, a small burst, but I didn't have time. And then that little humor that Matt Mercer plays, like, he's the perfect Dan. He knew the reaction I wanted when I'm just like, do a Dan reaction after that Hadouken doesn't hit, and he nailed it. So it's like, it was kind of like I knew what I wanted, and it's a lot of the actors pulling in and knowing their character. And I guess with the other fight scenes, the two newer characters, well, I mean, Makoto being in Street Fighter 3, all of the moves she actually does is just move sets that were in the original, in 3 and in 4. I just found a way to meld them together. But the problem with El Fuerte is that most of his moves are, I'm not going to say impossible, but very difficult to choreograph in real life. So we had to come up with some type of, wrestling gimmick, and I thought it worked. And then, believe it or not, the last choreography, we originally had Guy versus Ibuki, because, in the opening fights, or in Street Fighter 4, the opening, they have that little, like, gimmick on the rooftops where, she, blows away, and then he's all with that, face. I wanted that fight to continue, but through a lot of complications, we couldn't get the Ibuki, which, I was really sad for, but it's cool because Jen was like, I got the costume in my car, let's do it. And I'm like, really? So, there's a lot of, like, planning on the spot and doing what we had to do, and it turned out fantastic. And long story short, Jen actually got her payback because there's a blooper that, might show up later, but let's just say that if we didn't film faster, she would have been filmed with a giant puffy bruise on her face. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Hey, didn't Jen's leg came out in the foot fetish website or something?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it was hilarious.
Oh, I'm getting off. Should I tell the story? Oh, God.
Yes, you have to. You have to tell the foot fetish.
Acts of depravity have to be told on this show. We have to hear this. It's very adorable.
Well, I'm not going to embarrass this site maker, but there is a fella out there whose big thing is video games and feet.
Right. Okay.
Video game girls and feet. And he had lots of really nice, very sweet, glowing things to say about the film, but he had nicer things to say about our feet.
Oh boy.
Mine and Makoto's, or Jerry's.
Oh boy.
He goes as far as like he actually takes like stills from the thing, from the film, and he puts them in like little close-ups wherever we had like close-ups of feet.
Does that include the first one with the two guys? I'm not wearing any shoes or any socks. Neither am I.
Come on.
Totally other side, bro. Totally other side. Okay. He took a close-up, like a screenshot of the moment when, like, we'll put this in. It was like a slow-motion shot of me kicking him in the face, but he blocks it. And he takes screen capture of that moment.
Super slow-mo.
They freeze-framed it, and then they screen-capped the moment of impact of when it hits me, and the toe... Oh, you know what? Go ahead, Jen.
Under somehow. It's very strange. But in the shot, it looks like I've got 4 toes. And to make it worse, like we filmed this in a parking garage, so I've been like on my feet for hours barefooted. I mean, the bottom of my foot is filthy. It is the least sexy picture of the foot I think in the history of pictures.
You have picked the worst pictures. Ben, if you have a close-up of my foot, you have picked a dirty foot. Why not
Yeah, if you don't understand, it'd probably fetch more money if it was dirty, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
My foot has been a very, very dirty foot. It's, yeah.
Dirty feet.
And 4 toes as well.
I know. It's all kinds of messed up.
Paraplegic foot fetish on video games.
You have one eye. You're perfect. Come on in. Will you blow six heads? I'll film them all in super slow motion. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about you want all that, baby.
You get the weirdest. It's funny, but the stuff that Jen gets, the stuff that I've shown, you just get the weirdest shit that you sit there and go, what, really? I mean, it's really nice and complimenting.
Yeah, of
all of
course,
us feel like great about
it. It's creepy, but it's complimentary.
No, but you know what? I actually want to say a sincere thank you to the fellow that, posted it. I don't know. It's kind of a cool little bit of Street Fighter High trivia now.
There you go.
And I should say that as well, this, it was very much motivated by, how much fun we wanted to have. At the end of the day, though, it was a lot of work, but what fueled us, besides, like, mutual love for each other and all that kumbaya stuff, is a very deep love and fandom for Street Fighter. We have a lot of people on the cast who are just, that's what they're about.
Fanatics. They know their stuff.
Yes, definitely. So, and as much as, the parody, kind of, I jokingly used bastardized earlier, but we bastardize out of love. Like, we love these characters, and it's funny to see them in this new context, at least for me, And I was, it was a risk. Like, we weren't sure if people were going to hate it. Like, we weren't sure if we were going to be crucified for this, because this was obviously, like, people who love Street Fighter love it.
A passionate community,
Exactly. But, big sigh of relief, people seem to get that, we're doing it out of love, that it's funny to see them this way, and that we're full steam ahead on the musical sequel, because if there was any way we could make it worse, it was to make it a musical.
Yeah. I really think that, part and parcel is that the way this film is made is not only a result of, the cast portraying the Street Fighter characters, the ones they love, but it's not so much as, when you see fan films of, like, serious, fighting moves like Ryu and Ken fighting each other and all that, it's a very, very risky territory to go, because at what point would a fan think that you're saying that you're as good as Street Fighter to be able to pull this off? You know what I mean? Whereas for us, it is so cheesy, and in a way that the fans look at us as we're saluting the material, not so much as saying that we're as good as them. But we like it enough to just say, hey, let us salute this and put it into parodies and all that. And I think that's what's fun about it. And I think, you couldn't really be insulted by that.
And you're not laugh. I mean, like, some of the parts are so, like, how can you not laugh? It's just, are people that snobby about things? Like, I will not laugh about it.
Well, there's a lot of fan films, just to go on top of what he was saying, there's just a lot of fan film parody that just sucks. I mean, you guys
altogether,
you guys are the few groups that actually nailed it, made something that was actually humorous. And that doesn't. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of fan film parody, because it's, in some cases, it's not easy, but people think it is. So they think it's funny what they're presenting, and it's not.
It's a downfall.
It's also respect for the material. I think that if you're just trying to do a film and you're just jumping in on it and saying you want to do a parody, I don't think that's enough. But, at a lot of times in our sets where, we're both unsure about something, like, when we're shooting, say, a parody of the Jay and Silent Bob scene, for example.
I was dying when I saw that.
We had literally our laptop there with the scene ripped from the DVD. And saying, great. This is how the shot looks. This is what the framing is. This is what the lighting is. What are we doing differently? So
they had a little reference material there. You can just go right to it.
Yeah, correct. We needed the reference material in there, and and if you realize, a lot of the actors when they're doing the action, it's pretty much the same. When he says, who does the do? We do the do. Their actions, the way they kind of step back and threw the arms back, was exactly the same as Jason Mewes and what's his name, I definitely saw it.
Did you guys actually send this to Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes at all? Or?
I know Jason Mewes' name, but I don't know Kevin Smith's name. What the heck?
What are the king fanboys of the universe?
Yeah. But, no, but, you know, we knew that, you know, in order to parody it right, it was not only so much as, oh, we're doing something like this, but, you know, let's get the shot done right. Yeah, let's respect the filmmakers and say, we love your shots, we don't want to do it any different. There's no reason for us to do it any different. You did it right. We're not here to reinvent the wheel for you. We're not here to say that we can do it better than you. We're just here to say, we love it. We're going to have fun with it.
Paying homage to this.
Nail it there.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know, it's good to have, like, you know, funny lyrics to go with it too, and that's kudos to Jen. And Jen, how the heck did you write all those lyrics? Did you, like, play the song over and over again? And you don't come from a musical
background. That song creeps me out, man. Just hearing that song creeps me out.
But I don't know. I mean, how you don't have a musical background, so, like, what was your process, you know? And
yeah, the musical part of it, like all the songs chosen, who was responsible for a majority of their soundtrack choices?
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah. In a lot of ways, like, some of the scenes were you know, driven by or motivated by, like, the song choices. You know,
right.
Clearly. Well, you know, there's the cheer off between
yeah, like Hollow That Girl and all that stuff, like all the
exactly.
Where everybody's all lined up.
Yeah, it was no-brainer because of the theme that Gwen Stefani originally used in Sing, and you know, we actually had a lot of songs that we thought characters could sing that didn't make it into the film that would have been really great. We could have had Makoto do "If I Were a Boy" by Beyonce. We could have had Sakura do the that Taylor Swift song about being in the bleachers while the cheerleader is, you know, getting the guy, whatever that song's called. But yeah, I didn't really have a process. It was just, you know, taking the song and rewriting the lyrics to be, you know, right for the context. And
that's actually an important part of the film that wasn't even mentioned. You know, like the music itself is actually very important for the scenes. You know,
yes, absolutely. And we have Glenn Surovich to thank for the masterful sound engineering on those tracks. He's our sound engineer on this, and he for the musical portions, and he's actually very accomplished. He's a guy that worked with he's worked with Bob Dylan, and he's worked with Lyle Lovett. The thing is, what isn't really apparent when you watch the film, you know, just because it's fun and cheesy, is like some of the level of talent that we were somehow miraculously able to rope into being involved.
The great part about fan films, you know, you just kind of like these people almost come to you in a way when you're making a film. You know, you're just lucky enough that they land in your lap. You know, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
What about Ruben Langdon? You know, people like that, those like superstars of Street Fighter, like the voice of Ken. You know, doing all that. Like we didn't even plan on that. It was so much as, you know, Jen was like, you know, somebody's going to do the voiceover. We know that. And it wasn't until, like, the last minute that, you know, Ruben was, you know, I'm not sure the whole story, but, you know, Jen somehow got Ruben Langdon to do it.
It was, you know what, it's like incredible how easy it was. Like, I mean, not easy, but how like, generous people are with their time. And it really came down to one of our cast members, I believe it was Jordan Brown, he plays for Dawson, like, sent Ruben Langdon a Facebook message or something to that effect, something as simple as like a Facebook message or an email saying, would you like to be involved in, like, you know, Street Fighter High the musical, the sequel's coming out. And Ruben Langdon, like, he's huge. I mean, he's the voice of Dante in Devil May Cry, and he's Chris Redfield in Resident Evil. He's got, like, a huge fan base. And, I mean, what, like, you know, the kids have been, like, saying to me, oh, you should get Ruben Langdon involved. And I thought, there's no way he's gonna want to be involved in a fan film. Like, you know, he's huge and he's awesome. But
you never know. You just got to put the feelers out there and see what happens. You know.
That's what it was. You know, I didn't actually say, let's go get Ruben. It was nothing like that at all. It was
I'll give it a shot.
Sent him an email, and he didn't tell me until after he had said that he wanted to do it. So it came as a big surprise to us, and we were all sitting around going, what? He wants to do it? And you know, he was generous with his time, and we got to see, like, his offices. It was just, you know, so many things about this production have been just surreal.
He wore a wig for you. What are you talking about?
He did. He put on a hokey-looking Ken wig to do
Oh,
this for
boy.
us. Yeah.
Was that also the same gentleman who did Baraka, too, or was that a different guy?
Sorry?
No.
No,
Baraka? No, he seems, well, I don't know, but he seems to me like he's a Capcom guy. Not a...
One point, there was a close-up on, like, Baraka, then there was Ken. I was looking at their faces, and I was like, they look kind of similar in a way, but I don't know.
I think she's talking about there's a quick cameo at the end. Maybe I'm mistaken, where he looks at the camera and smiles. He's got a...
No, you're right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And, of course, he's the voice of Ken in the actual Street Fighter game.
Right.
I don't know why I left that detail out.
Wow.
So that's why that's so awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As far as the character elements in the film, you don't have to go ultra crazy, but what elements did you pull from the actual characters, and did you put in your own, your own personal stamps on some of the characters? I mean, did you mostly draw from what existed in the actual licensed comics, animation,
You
video
mean the
games?
writing, or you mean the
Yeah. Did you put in your own little character, quirks to some of the characters? I guess you did.
Yeah, they're sprinkled. I would say we made sure like every character had some elements of they were recognizable as themselves, but in this new context. But it's also safe to say that everyone interpreted that material, and you know what? Actually, Hugh actually made everybody, all the actors, think hard about their characters. And like explore what they thought these characters would have been like in high school. And so all the actors came to the set not only with knowledge of what their characters were supposed to be like, but what they imagined they were supposed to be like in high school. It was, everyone really internalized their characters, I guess.
I guess any actor or actress brings their personality to the character. Hey, I didn't say it was a good question. I wrote it down, so I asked it. What can I say?
Be quiet the rest of the damn show, all right?
All right. I'm just going to shut the fuck up. What do you got, Fanboy Will? I'm going to shut up now.
I was actually going to ask there was also kind of on the fan film tip, the introduction of the X-Men characters for Marvel versus Capcom. Was that like a late idea, or was that always planned out?
And also, before you answer, I got to touch on that someone we did interview is actually on a previous podcast.
Go for it, Chris.
Yeah, two people you've interviewed, actually.
Really? I know.
Hear your sexy voice, Chris. Go for it.
Shut up.
I love the way you talk.
I know Jubilee was played by Tara Strand, right.
Yeah.
And now, who was the second one?
We have 6 degrees of fan film.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And, it gets weirder. It gets so much weirder. You have no idea. Our Psylocke was Huntress, and she is Huntress in GPW, or Gotham Public Works.
Oh, okay.
But this is how weird this gets. And this is like a never-before-told story, so, get ready to that.
Exclusive!
About 8 years ago or something ridiculous like that, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I actually had auditioned for Gotham Public Works to be their Batgirl. Yeah, wow. And I had made it through their several rounds of auditions. I was almost there, and it was something that could have been, but I had kind of a kerfuffle with one of their I'll just say it, with their Batman at the time, who was no longer part of the group. So that was where I won't get into the nitty gritty, but that's where that stopped. But she and Tara remained friends since then in kind of a weird way. So that sounded so cryptic. That sounded like there was something going on. No, we remained friends in that
You have an open relationship. I understand.
And we remained friends in that our paths would cross, and we'd be really friendly and happy to see each other again. Oh wow, how you been, and all that stuff. And it wasn't really until we worked together we worked at the same time at Disney at one point. It was very weird. It was like the universe was forcing our paths to cross. But yeah, she very very kindly accepted my request that she donned the yellow trench coat and the goggles for this role of Jubilee. So that's how that happened.
Good old Jubilee.
Nice. And if you look at the film, once the dance number is over with Psylocke, Rogue, and Jubilee, you can see Tara smiling, like she just had a good dance time. Do you notice that when you watch it? Go back and watch it.
I think they thought that the shot was I think they thought it was cut
Yeah.
That was like, and we got a real genuine moment there, and Hugh's expert eye put that into the film. And it,
That's good.
I tell you, man, if you want to party, those guys from Gotham Public Works, I'm sure enough to tell you, we had them on. They were hilarious.
They're fabulous people. I mean, I don't know them all that well, but every time I've encountered them, they've been just wonderful, entertaining, effervescent people. So
it's funny because they kind of held back at first. They were like doing the same thing. You guys were like, "Can we like curse on here and stuff?" And once they found out we were just like cool with whatever, they were just like, "Oh, fuck that," And it was like a radio party. It was like we were getting drunk, they were getting drunk on the air. It was great. There was cursing and telling funny stories, and they were just like, we knew that, like they knew, me and Chris their whole lives or something. They were just so friendly.
And that's the virtue of the group. Like they're just some of the coolest people you'll ever meet, and they do all the huge conventions, and there's a reason why they've got a dedicated fan base. Like they're
exactly, yeah, they do something right.
They're good people, yeah.
You got to think, if you look good and you look pretty in your costume, that's one thing. You got to be personable too. Otherwise, they're going to be like, "Oh, those people from Gothic Public Works are dicks," Like, you don't want to be known as a dick. It sucks. Trust me, I know.
Don't use the word dick and suck in the same sentence, Will.
Hey! They did. What does that mean? Does that say something about me? I don't know.
That's all right. I approve.
I don't know.
I approve.
Whatever. Oh, boy, this guy.
Yeah.
You guys are drunk right now.
We usually keep him in a trunk like the Gimp, and we let him out for shows.
Nice.
We're like, "All right, Chris, you ready?" He's like, "Ugh." The Gimp's sleeping. All right, we got a podcast, but you better wake his ass up. You guys should have had the Gimp. That would have been great. Like the Gimp versus Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Not a good opponent. Not a very good opponent.
Hey, no, John, we're just naturally this stupid.
I'm trying to be nice. I don't know.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to be.
All the time. I'm used to it. My humor is, oh boy. I go off on these wild magical mystery tours of humor. Lead nowhere. It's great.
It's all good.
The whole entire time you guys were talking, I'm watching my snake like swallowing a rat.
That's awesome. Thanks for doing that. So Will's playing Street Fighter.
I'm reading a new script right now.
Yeah, Hugh's watching. I'm actually painting my basement.
Are you kidding me? Wax on, wax off. Paint the fence. Paint the house.
So me and Jen are going to raise money for the next, Street Fighter College, the musical, American Pie version.
No, don't put that out there into the universe. Don't do that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get the hairiest guy on our production and put wax strips on him and charge people like $10 to pull each wax strip off. And that's how we're going to do it.
No, Kelly Clarkson! I hate you! Stop smiling, you jerk!
Why don't you guys each plug what you got going on and what's coming up?
Pimp time. Big pimp.
Yeah. Personally, my next thing is I'm working on an original comic book that is based off of a screenplay that I wrote. So I don't know whether or not that's going to come to fruition. We're like shopping it. But other than that, just trying to focus on the filmmaking and the screenwriting right now. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You can go to Jennifer-Zhang.com to follow my exploits when you have time to waste.
Very cool.
Oh, StreetFighterHigh.com.
What was that?
StreetFighterHigh.com. That was graceful, right? But
okay.
StreetFighterHigh.com.
I just want to say, thank you, everybody who's listening on this. It's been quite a trip for me to, make my first short and have it turn out this way, in which people are actually interested.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah, it is. And,
a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And I really hope that, as I continue to do, more short films, I can, eventually get to making feature films and all that. But to everybody who has supported us, we're not asking for it. You just gave it I think that's the best thing I can ask for. And I think that's really good karma to everybody. So thank you very much.
Very nice.
Good man, good man.
William, wake up.
Yes. I honestly, what's next for me is, I don't know, I'm just going to keep working, doing my superhero thing on the side, and hoping that there's a Street Fighter 3.
Awesome.
We shall see.
You guys might like out. You get Jean-Claude Van Damme in there somewhere.
What?
Street Fighter will be second.
You might be able to get Jean-Claude Van Damme to be in the next one. That'd be good stuff, you know?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
He did such a good job in the original Hollywood production, but boy, that was good. No,
oh my God.
Hasn't there whatsoever.
The most amazing Street Fighter rendition. I don't even know why we did one. That one should have closed the book on all future Street Fighter films. It was so awesome.
Sure.
For them, it was a Tuesday.
Sure, it should have.
So.
Lies. All lies.
They changed our lives. All the fans out there that have. We love you guys all. We all owe you stuff now. And thank you both of you for having us on your show.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. You were a lot of fun.
That's great.
It's awesome.
All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Much success.
Bye.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Put them in your pants.
You have plenty.
Alrighty.
All right.
On that note,
see you guys. I'll see you later.
Peace.
be good, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for being on the show.